The Galaxy S8 Plus was Samsung's top-end flagship smartphone of 2017, which set the bar pretty high for other competitors of its time, as well as all future phones to come. 3 years down the line, the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra has been released, but how does a 3-year-old Samsung flagship compete against its newer, bigger brother, the S20 Ultra, in performance? I have the Snapdragon variants of both of these devices, and this is a true test of smartphone speed between Samsung's best of 2017 and their best of 2020. The S20 Ultra comes paired with Qualcomm's latest Snapdragon 865 processing chip run on 7nm plus technology. This is an octa-core setup. We also get 12 gigs of RAM on the variant that I have anyway, and it is run on LPDDR5 RAM with UFS 3 Storage, while the S8 Plus, on the other hand, had Qualcomm's best chipset of 2017, the Snapdragon 835, run on 10nm technology. This was also an octa-core CPU, though with slightly lower clock speeds. I have the 4 gig of RAM variant on top of LPDDR4X RAM, and we also have UFS storage here, though we have slightly slower UFS 2 storage on the Snapdragon version. I've updated the softwares on both of the devices over here. It is good to know, since the S8 Plus has actually improved since its launch on Android 7 Nougat to Android 9 Pie. It is running One UI 1 as opposed to One UI 2.1 on the S20 Ultra with Android 10. Here are the hardware specs. Feel free to hit pause for more information. It is surprising to see that the S8 Plus only has less than 1 gig of RAM available in its RAM space over there. We're rocking both WQHD panels on both the devices over here, and I've set the S20 Ultra to 60Hz to match that of the S8 Plus because it cannot do WQHD Plus and 120Hz at the same time. I've also disabled animations here to keep things as even as possible. Round 1 will be all about boot, fingerprint, and face unlock. Round 2 will be all about initial opening of app speed, and round 3 will be all about RAM management. We're going to be using my fingers over here, so to keep things accurate, we're going to pop GoPro footage at the bottom left-hand corner. Guys, this is Tech Nick, and without further ado, let's go. We're going to start with a boot here in round 1 to see which one can boot up faster. I've sped things up at the bottom right hand corner if you haven't noticed. 21 seconds for the S20 Ultra, just 2 seconds quicker than that of the S8 Plus. 3 years down the line, 23 seconds for the S8 Plus, gets its first point there. When initially going into the phone to refresh the actual app icons, the S8 Plus surprisingly does a faster job than the S20 Ultra here, getting it its first point here in round 1. We have a physical fingerprint sensor at the back of the S8 Plus in a very strange odd position over here, and an ultrasonic fingerprint sensor underneath the screen of the S20 Ultra. The S20 Ultra is faster every single time over here. No surprise, 3 out of 3 over there, getting it its second point in round 1. When we test out facial recognition, I'm not using the iris sensor on the S8 Plus here, just facial recognition. The S20 Ultra was faster most of the time, though the S8 Plus was actually quicker in the last one over there. 1 out of 3 as opposed to 2 out of 3 for the S20 Ultra, so the S20 Ultra got its third and final point in round 1 as opposed to 1 point on the S8 Plus in round 1. Round 2 is going to be all about initially opening up apps. The S8 Plus actually opened the camera app, flipped to the selfie cam, and took the snap quick over here, but it's no surprise since the camera UI, yes, it is very similar, but the cameras on the back of the S20 Ultra and on the front have a much higher megapixel count to that of the S8 Plus, so it is kind of expected there. When it comes to other apps such as system apps, going into gallery, the S20 Ultra was quicker, as well as going into calculator there. Going into the phone app, the same thing can be said. The S20 Ultra was quicker. Guys, most of these apps are indeed going to be faster on a 3-year newer version of the Samsung beast here, the S20 Ultra, as opposed to Samsung's best in 2017, the S8 Plus. It is very expected, but just look at the minimal difference when opening up apps. We're running an internet speed test here called speed check. We're not testing download upload rates, we're just checking how long it takes to do it. Both of them did it in 22 seconds, so no points was allocated there. So like I was saying, all of these apps that get opened are going to open fast on the S20 Ultra, but by how much? Just fractions of a second quicker. Is it really worth spending that much money in 2020 for performance as opposed to the S8 Plus? I would say that if Samsung were to slap its wonderful cameras onto the back of the S8 Plus and then go ahead and add 120Hz display on the S8 Plus, you wouldn't really need an S20 Ultra's performance. The Samsung S20 Ultra did top-notch works there with Photoshop Express, exporting the photo quick over there. We're in Adobe Rush here. We're going to take a 4K clip. We're going to compress it down to 1080p, match the frame rate of 25 frames per second, and go ahead and export. As I mentioned earlier, we have UFS3 storage on the S20 Ultra and UFS 2.0 storage on the S8 Plus. I am speeding things up again, as you can see at the bottom right-hand corner. And after just 13 seconds, the S20 Ultra renders the clip, as opposed to 25 seconds on the S8 Plus with UFS 2.0 storage. The Exynos version of the S8 Plus actually has UFS 2.1 storage, but I unfortunately have the Snapdragon variant here. The Samsung opens up Astral VPN. We need a VPN here in China in order to go into the next couple apps that we're going to be opening. We need it here in China in order to open these apps, and going into the first app that we need it for is Facebook, which the S20 Ultra opens up quicker. Next social media app here is Instagram. Once again, of course, the S20 Ultra opens that up quicker, but honestly, just by a few hairs of a second. Going into Twitter here, a little bit longer to load, but once again, 17 points on the S20 Ultra as opposed to 3 points on the S8 Plus. Same thing can be said with YouTube over here, though once again, not a massive difference over here. Now we're going to shoot over to my profile to see which one can go into my channel slightly faster. Once again, not a massive difference over here, but the S20 Ultra gets its 19th point there. Going into a video, the S20 Ultra plays it quicker as well as loads the entire screen faster as well, now getting it its 20th points as opposed to 3 on the S8 Plus. Next app that we have here is indeed Netflix. Going into the profile section, S20 Ultra opens it up quicker going into my profile. Once again, S20 Ultra does it slightly faster, just slightly faster than the S8 Plus. Next app here, last tray of apps, last row of apps here. S20 Ultra opens up Chrome a little bit quicker than the S8 Plus. And now we're going to go into our first game of 4 here, first being Subway Surfers. It does take a little bit longer to load than the other apps that we have done here, but once again, the S20 Ultra opens it up quicker, actually quite a bit quicker this time round with a game here. Subway Surfers has changed quite a bit since the S8 Plus's launch, so it's not that compatible with the device. Next game is Flip Diving, which no doubt the S20 Ultra opens up quicker, making it 25 points as opposed to 3 on the S8 Plus. But guys, you're gonna see a lot of points go the S20 Ultra's way, but just look at the overall picture, the actual difference. So do you mind waiting an extra second or two between them? Yes, my speed test is to test out raw performance, and of course, raw performance, the S20 Ultra is going to win hands down. But if you don't have the money to spend, is it worth buying a flagship from 3 years ago as opposed to a mid-range chip of 2020? Let me know in the comments down below what you think. Opening up PUBG, 13 seconds for the S20 Ultra, 15 seconds slower the S8 Plus here with 28 seconds. Now we're going to go shoot over to round 3 over here. We have 12 gigs, quad channel of RAM here with LPDDR5 on the S20 Ultra, 4 gigs of RAM, dual channel with LPDDR4X on the S8 Plus over here. So of course, we're going to see quite a big difference over here. The S20 Ultra has kept pretty much all the apps open, where the S8 Plus has pretty much kept none of them open. But as I showed you earlier, we just had 900 megs of RAM available on the S8 Plus 4 gig of RAM variant, where we had more than 4 gigs on the S20 Ultra after the OS was sucking up all of that RAM. So we got 16 points, 17 points now for the S20 Ultra with RAM management, as opposed to 0 points for the S8 Plus when it comes to RAM management. I did go into all individual apps, and I went into the battery optimization here. I made sure that none of them were optimized on both of the devices, as you guys can see here, just in case you think that the S8 Plus could have kept more apps open in the background. And now for the final results, total score for the S20 Ultra, 47 points as opposed to 4 points on the S8 Plus. It absolutely crushed it, but it was what we were expecting. 27 points when it comes to just raw speed in round 2, as opposed to 3 on the S8 Plus in round 2 over there. But if you look at score alone, then yes, the S20 Ultra is a much faster device. But when it opened up apps faster, it only did so a fraction of a second quicker when opening up most apps. What matters here is the faster UFS3 storage and faster LPDDR5 RAM. Of course, there are other improvements too, such as in the camera department, but that's hardly relevant in a speed test such as this. There are a few things that have not really changed between these two devices. The S8 Plus still has wireless charging, an SD card slot option, IP68 water and dust resistant rating, WQHD Plus AMOLED display with curved edges, and still has pretty decent performance in 2020. I thought this would be a really interesting test to share with you guys. If you haven't hit that subscribe button yet, please do so. Guys, this is TechNick, and I'll see you in the next one.